more than 1 million people. So let's listen to his presentation. Hello to everyone. Do you hear me well? Everything is okay? Today I will talk about how to combine MODX with hardware. Very often, many people they have an idea how web technologies can be connected with some physical hardware. It's a miracle that might never happen, but actually it's much easier. It's more practical, and if you have corresponding task to make this to get this solution is very easy. So what hardware we can consider here. So first, it's personal gadgets. The simplest one. The first thing we think of is these bracelets, watches, and like household kettles, microwaves. It's what is being already used today, and you have to manage it somehow, like mobility sensors. Movement sensors and sensors. You know that the list is very long. Some specific devices that we even don't know just because they're used by 1/100% of all people, and they're very specific, but people use it. And industrial devices, it's very simple. It's production machinery and some controllers and similar things. Then how these devices can be connected to anything. The first option of interface is standard classical COM port, then more convenient and more standard Ethernet, and the most industrial one is RS481, which works only with two wires, two channels, and you cannot connect it to a normal PC just like that. And so how we can implement it? Let's discuss it. At the software level, how the connection is being set up with all that. At the lower level, we have description of transport protocol. How the packages have to be made up, codes, symbol codes, bytes, and etc. And then when we complete this low part, then we start working with the top level, top part, standard protocol. The simplest is TTPRS and HTTPS and etc. So so the low level is HTTP, and on top of HTTP REST. So what are the targets of this? So this combination, this connection. First is to get data of the status of some equipment or what is there in the rooms where you don't have access to. And for example, now we are all here in this room, and maybe you can be interested what is the temperature is in your apartment, because maybe it's too cold and your flowers are dying. So this is one of the options, and the second option is for example, you want to aggregate all the information from simple sensors in one place to process it afterwards. And the last but not least is very logical. It's a remote management of all these devices. Continuing, like, for example, with this apartment and flower, it's too hot in the room. You open the window. You need to open the window, so you can open the window sitting here in this room. Remotely, you don't need to go back to your house, and so sending the orders, the commands, it's connected to the previous slide. So what are the examples of such applications? Household is like a smart house solution where you can open windows, where you can switch on and off heating, and automation of your garden. So you can check with through sensors that the land is dry, that your tomatoes are not growing good. Then you switch on automatic irrigation, and depending on what is going on real time, actually. So you do something. And then management of standard devices from your gadget. This is what I mentioned, like microwaves, T-ports, heaters, the things and devices that are now very autonomous, separate, but very soon they will be part of Internet of Things. All the management will be done through the networks. And in the industry, it's cloud storages and systematization of all this data for the further processing and distributed management distributed access control management system, complex control over machines and other equipment. And in one place you can launch easily some command at 1,000 units to produce some part, and from your control panel you can also monitor what's being actually done, how it is being produced. So what are the options of the interface? First, we looked at interfaces at the equipment itself. So with Ethernet, it's quite clear. Classical standard port is used, connected to network, and you just work. And but in case this device has a COM port or RS485, you need special adapters, converters. MODX 5110, or it's analogous. It's a miracle thing. It's a transparent thing. All the requests to COM port are redirected to Ethernet, and it's very convenient to connect it and to work with different devices. With legacy devices or with the simple devices that don't have their own smart interfaces. So in the observed topic, the most convenient in the connection with such devices are done through sockets. In any programming language, contemporary programming language like PHP, it's possible to connect to some host in the network. You just state its IP address, its port. It's very easy. It's set up, establish the connection and communication. So what we need for that? So first is to implement at the transport level physical delivery of data through the sockets. So read and record through the socket. Then the lower level. At the lower level, we have to prepare the packages in accordance with the protocol of the equipment. And in this way, we afterwards, at the top level, at the high level, we just have to make a comment, add parameters to it, and at the lower level, everything will be converted to the format that is convenient to for the equipment to process it. So what are the options here? So we can consider it at the example of a cash register. So first, where all this idea originated from, for enterprise management system, EMS, which was on base of PHP MODX, created on this base, we had to make a physical receipt, like physically, at a physical device, and correspondingly it worked through a COM port. So PHP and COM port, you understand, but it's very different things. But MODX helped to settle this issue. To PHP, we connected through socket. Everything worked well, and everything was perfect. But
in Russia, revised law on cash registers entered into force. Federal law number 54, which required that in addition to all other editions, internet shops also should print physical receipts. And for many internet shops, it has become a headache, because lots of them were like running hectically and thinking, how can we do that? How can we arrange this? I have a virtual website which is somewhere, no one knows where, and I'm supposed to buy cash registers. How come? Even when time has passed, some solutions appeared, but still many internet shops owners still don't know what to do with that. But basically, everything is much easier. Before this law was adopted, how the fiscal register looked like, it was like a piece of equipment. You see it's a rear panel, where in the first, the biggest port is a COM port. It's apparent, and it's quite difficult to connect it to service, especially if some kind of household computer serves as a server and doesn't have this port. Since a new law required that all cash registers become online registers, people refused from the old COM port and started using COM port like as a port in the internet. And it's easy to connect this equipment to the network. As I've mentioned, all internet stores were obliged to use cash registers for their sales. Even if a person pays for all that online from a card, still the shop has to issue a receipt. It's as disadvantage. And since cash registers were smart, they started sending all sales data to the tax authority. I heard that in Europe all things are developed.
В любом случае, абсолютно.
In any event, this prospective future is quite possible.
Вот.
And that's how the renewed equipment looks like. We can see that on the left-hand side, you see the miraculous Ethernet port, with which your connection became much more understandable and much more comfortable. Now let's see what types of interaction there are of the internet shop and a physical cash register. The first option, interaction through a cloud service for cash register lease. When these cash registers are located somewhere in data centers in big numbers, so-called cash register farm, and accordingly the internet shop provides information that sales occurred, and those cash registers provide receipts themselves, and internet shop owner doesn't even think about that. But this, on the one hand, a pleasant decision, but it has its minor points or nuances. There's another option. It seems logical, like direct interaction or almost direct interaction of the internet shop and the cash register. But there is a problem. The internet shop is somewhere in the server, but the cash register is supposed to get commands directly from the network where it is located itself, because the feature of this cash registers do not allow to upload them directly to the internet. So it happens as such. If you have a cash register in your data center where you have your website, everything is easy and simple. Otherwise, you need to use some kind of mediatory, like a computer like Raspberry Pi or a similar device that will take information from the shop that the order occurred and send a command for printing out to the equipment or cash register. So what has been accomplished for this? For the first option for cloud cash registers, we have issued a module that allows to organize interaction with our cloud servers in several clicks. And another option, interaction with the physical cash register that you can see on the slide. Accordingly, for this option, it will be required to use some kind of mediatory equipment, maybe on the office PC. A required set of components could be uploaded, or a microcomputer can be used, but this is not critical. Here, one can see how MODX gets connected with the equipment. The ones that deal with development on PHP have a probably an idea what's written here, and one can see that actual commands, the last one, like printed message, it's simple, easy, and comfortable. It is shown here. Of course, it's like a screen, but it's a component of the console, which isn't understandable and comfortable for all developers on MODX, at least and revolutionary, Dmitry, for you to know. As regards interaction, direct interaction, what I have mentioned, it's an example of the upper level. When we have a rather simple connection, we just provide a command that has to be accomplished, just 1 byte under the protocol, and send this command for accomplishment. So that's it. This will be executed, and the apparatus or the equipment will provide a noise, beep noise, and next operation, printing out the line. Here it's a little bit longer because one needs to prepare this line and to transfer it as a parameter for the command. Here, the level is a bit lower, sending of data to the channel. At first, preparation of binary data that will be sent, then the transfer function or activation, and then processing of errors if need be. And this is the lowest level where we can see that a prepared message is accepted. Small differences disregard debug, and further, this prepared message is sent to the socket, and then there is direct writing in the socket, and thereby the command gets to the equipment. Separate function deal with reading the responses. In this case, they are absolutely relevant. As is seen, globally, nothing is complex here. You just take the protocol, get familiarized with it, and basically go through it step by step. And what is written there, prepare this in the code. And it doesn't matter in which language. As regards data exchange intervals, what options are there? On demand, when the control system itself, which deals with interaction with hardware, requests for something and makes immediate decisions whether this has to be done or not. Further option, once in a minute or once in 10 minutes or once in 24 hours. By cron, it's launched by schedule. And the final version, in real time, when with Node.js, it's activated when something has occurred, some event has taken place. From the main stuff, that's basically it. As you can see in practice, this works like this, like magic. Everything is easy and simple, and it emerges all of a sudden. Now, accordingly, I will show you a couple of interesting things. This is the console I mentioned to you. And as you've heard, the equipment provided this beep noise, a very simple code. There's another option. A small receipt on which you can see MODX P2017. We can change the message and everything will be miraculous and wonderful. And now another option, internet shop. By the way, this address demo.combine.ru, you can open it from your mobile phone and do the same. We have added some goods to the basket. We can fill just these 2 fields, and since this website has not been translated into English, we create an order. Hopefully the internet has not gone. No internet. Do we have a system administrator responsible for the internet, because such a marvelous moment has been failed? there has been no internet before the report, and then we had it prior to the report, and I was happy that everything would be fine. But it's a small failure. Something is bad with the internet, that it doesn't work.
Все. Саш, 2, 2, 3, 10, 19, а латинская маленькая. Не хочет.
It doesn't work.
Прошу прощения, такой
I apologize for this technical failure. Quite unexpected.
Давай, может, у тебя поближе будет.
Или у вас 780, значит, 8 единиц.
Сейчас подождем, пока страничка перезагрузится.
So let's wait until the page gets reloaded. Here you go. It has been restarted. And it says you have ordered are successfully, and now the magic I told you about is about to occur. And without any particular reason, it doesn't want to take place. It doesn't want to happen. The page has been restarted and the order has been created on the website. It says you have made your order successfully.
Во.
Here you go. I came up with a solution. There was one slack, obviously. There should be like a stockpile, and those are two different orders, by the way. Or maybe not quite. Okay, let's stop at this. Anyway, one can see this example of the internet shop. Maybe it has failed, but still. At this, what I was also planning to tell you, that's about it. I almost succeeded in showing it to you, except for one minor point, but this is not so important. The key point is that it is seen that generally that we have made an order on the website, in the internet shop, and in some time a receipt has been printed on a real physical device, not just online device. Thereby, I will repeat the critical point. No matter how difficult the task seems, if there is a task, a solution will always be found. And in this case, even for such incompatible, from the first glance, things, this is possible. That's it. Thank you very much. Maybe any questions? Maybe some people have questions based on the content. Any limitations for equipment or for the connection? Everything depends here on the protocol that is being used. If it's done on COM part, is it possible to connect? Yes. These registers, they were on COM part before renewal, before update, and the principle remains the same. A package was formed and sent, and fiscal agent replied to this package, and it was okay. The simplest analogy here is like bilateral exchange, like interaction with the SAM, GSO, APC, or whatever. What is unusual is just one thing, the format of data exchange itself. With JSON, these are massive data with keys that are understandable to people, but here is just one byte which signifies a command. No further principal differences here. So got it. Now it's like connection, like a command is sent to the PC or your notebook, and the notebook gives a command for printing out. Exactly. Positive. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Further question? I see that. And the bytes, controlling bytes, how can one learn for which things are those bytes responsible? Is there some kind of documentation? Yes, exactly. Documents for this particular equipment has 250 pages. IATOL manufactures one protocol, Strich, another protocol, some other producers, third protocol, different number of pages. We also consider consideration with another type of equipment. They have a protocol for 30 pages, but you have implemented for all those equipment? No, just for ATOL. And as a component, it hasn't been manufactured or issued yet. Here's one minor point. It's not that easy to unfold to install and to produce it as a ready-made component. We don't know if it will be in demand. And specifically for actual hardware or equipment, the cost will be different from the commonly recognized, for commonly used. And this thing does not allow us to provide it publicly available. Thank you for your question. Maybe any further questions from the audience? Actually, in addition to connection of cloud, there's also Yandex Money, which allow they connect themselves. And speaking about Yandex Money, it's already associated, so you buy similar ATOL from them, from Yandex Money, and it works directly. It has installed access to the internet. You don't need to connect it to the notebook. Am I right? It's like one of the options for resolution of this problem associated with the new law. I doubt it very much, because actually such devices, they are like dumb. They are really dumb. But what we have done, like Yandex Money were sent from MODX Revo, and the client has equipment that works through Yandex Money with their own Yandex plugin, and Yandex takes care of it itself as one of the options of easy and smooth connection to the system. Could be, but in summer time there were no such solutions for sure, or maybe we haven't got the time to upgrade it. Thank you very much. Any further questions? No further questions? Okay, thank you very much indeed, Mikhail, for your presentation. Please applause to Mikhail.